Hi gang, that's just what I call you now, sorry, don't know why. My name is Adam Cleary and we have some Star Trek news, some exciting Star Trek news for you for, I think I'm right in saying, the 5th or 6th time on this exact subject. Alright, so the long-rumoured, even longer-awaited 4th J.J. Abrams verse Star Trek movie with Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto and Zoe Saldana and all of them, which was definitely happening and then was definitely not happening and then was maybe going to happen but then was probably not going to happen, is now, according to J.J. Abrams himself, definitely going to happen. And soon. And this isn't one of those, oh, he said, oh, maybe we're going to start working on it, oh, I've got a script in a drawer, or oh, I'm going to sit and talk to them and we'll see what's going to happen. No, no, no. This was on the official Paramount investors call yesterday, the February the 15th, the very 15th, 2020, the 2. He said this was definitely going to happen, and I have a quote which proves that. We are thrilled to say, what does J.J. Abrams sound like? We are thrilled, I don't know his voice, we are thrilled to say that we are hard at work on a new Star Trek film that will be shooting by the end of the year, that will be featuring our original cast and some new characters that I think are going to be really fun and exciting and help take Star Trek into areas that are just never seen before. We're thrilled about this film. We have a bunch of other stories that we're talking about and we think will be really exciting, so can't wait for you to see what we're cooking up. But until then, live long and prosper. He said the thing! So just to bring you up to date with what this 4th Star Trek film is and where it's been and everything that's going on with it, we obviously got Star Trek Beyond, which was at the time met to a mixed critical reception, and it's fair to say a mixed fan reception. I personally really liked it. I know loads of people who really liked it, but a lot of people were just like, oh, this is a bit lame. It kind of feels like you've run out of ideas with these characters. And then all the contracts were up for negotiation. There was all kinds of stuff going on behind the scenes, and they never managed to come to terms on either the will from Paramount to make the 4th film, the consensus of the actors to make a 4th film, a story with which to make a 4th film. None of the pieces fell into place. So for years now, we have constantly had, oh, it's going to get made, oh, it's not going to get made, oh, it's maybe going to get made, oh, they're talking about this, they're talking about that, and there have been so many major, bumps along this particular road. Chief amongst said bumps was, of course, Chris Hemsworth. You remember him, he is Almighty Thor, but he was also all dead Jim Kirk's dad in the very first Star Trek 2009 Abrams movie. You must know that. I bet there was at least one person watching this that has not clocked that's Chris Hemsworth, but for the other 99.99% of you, yes, you remember, he's given command of the Kelvin right at the very start, and that's what sets off this chain of events which gives us the alternate timeline. He is an integral part of this story, but at the time was an incredibly unintegral actor. I think he was still just Home and Away or Baywatch or Surf's Up, whatever he was from at the time, he was just kind of thrown into all that. Nobody knowing he was then going to go on to become one of the biggest film stars, one of the most recognizable faces in the world. So they thought, hey, we should get him in. That's star power that's logical to apply to a 4th movie. But the problem with that was Chris Hemsworth charges a pretty penny these days after all those Marvel movies, a prettier penny indeed than that of Chris Pine and Zachary Quinto, and they obviously sat around with their agents probably and went, it's actually our film this, we're kind of the stars of all of this, so he can't come in and get a bigger payday. So this was all going on, this wrangling was going on for ages and ages and ages, and they could never get that sorted. So that was one of the many reasons why we didn't know if we were going to get a 4th Star Trek film. And then even madder than all that, even madder than the maddest bag of mad smashed crabs that you have gone at with your particularly mad hammer, was the Quentin Tarantino stuff. He was desperate, apparently, we heard, to make a Star Trek movie. It was going to be alongside Star Trek 4. It was going to be instead of Star Trek 4. It was going to be Star Trek 4. Every single variation of that story did do the rounds, but again, nothing was ever locked in. Nothing was ever concrete. Tarantino talked about it himself. It was something he really wanted to do. It was something he believed was going to happen, but never went on an investor call with Paramount to say that yes, we're making it and you'll see it in the very near future. It never got to that stage. Is it still happening? I don't know. Maybe that would be the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I do kind of want to see it. And Abrams does say there's other things going on as well. So maybe we will see the Tarantino Star Trek film. Maybe, but this ain't it. And of course, there is the third part to all of this, and that was just that it wasn't ever going to happen at all. Interest in it had died. Nobody was particularly bothered about seeing it. The cast didn't want to come back for it. Abrams didn't really want to make it. The audience had moved on from these characters. The window with which to make Star Trek 4 was now long since gone. For all that Beyond was good, it hadn't quite rescued the whole thing from the mess that was Into Darkness. And there's a lot to like about Into Darkness. It's not a terrible film, but it did kind of sink all the momentum they got off the first part. Anyway, I digress. It just wasn't going to happen. They weren't going to make it. It was off the table completely. Forget about it. Never, ever, 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 ever. At least now we know that story isn't true. But the one thing that did kind of suggest to me, and I am going to editorialize this slightly now, one thing that did suggest to me it was never going to happen was the success of the new Star Trek shows. Now, I know Discovery has its detractors, it doesn't appeal to everybody, and I know at the same time Lower Decks, that's got its own audience, Prodigy's got its own audience, Strange New Worlds, when that comes out, will undoubtedly have its own audience, Picard has its own audience, but the thing is, when you combine all of those audiences together, that's a really big Star Trek audience, which is why new projects keep getting greenlit. It's why they went ahead with Prodigy. It's why Picard's getting a season 2. It's why Strange New Worlds seems so exciting. Why we don't go a week without hearing about why they should bring back Enterprise or why they should make a Worf series. It has been a huge success for Paramount. Now, I know some people still don't like any of it, but the fact is they're in a minority now. There is enough interest in Star Trek, in these new serialized Star Trek shows, for them to make more. And if you've got that level of success, if you can keep putting out these TV shows that enough people are liking, that you're gonna make more and you're gonna make some bank, you don't really need to go back to the J.J. Abrams well. You can just not do that, which is what I thought they were doing. But yes, indeed, friends, it appears our cup, and by cup I specifically mean that, that blue, wide bottom, narrow neck one they had in all the 90s. Yeah, that cup runneth over with new Star Trek properties. Not only are we getting Strange New Worlds, which of course I am not at liberty to talk about or show you any clips from, else I'd be arrested and shot immediately. Apparently, not only are we getting that, but we are now getting Star Trek 4, which is just, I don't know. I think that ship had sailed, but will I watch the hell out of it when it comes out? Yes I will. Alright, Adam, that's all great waffle and talking out of your hoop for a while, but do we have any facts about this new movie? When's it going to be out, for example? What's it going to be about? Well, none of those two very interesting things, but what we do know is that Abrams is producing this movie. It's as yet untitled. Matt Shakman, who was doing WandaVision, will be directing from a screenplay by Josh Friedman, who's the guy who's done Avatar 2, and Cameron Squires, who was also on WandaVision, and it's apparently based on an earlier draft by Lindsay Beer and Geneva Robson Dworet. I think I've read that right. One interesting thing in this Variety article, by the way, and hat tip to Variety, by the way, for writing this all up, is that apparently Paramount weren't really sure about making this movie. They weren't really sure if the audience were interested in seeing these characters, so they did a large degree of market research, of audience research, to see if indeed there was any interest in it. And apparently the response they got back was so overwhelmingly positive, it gave them the confidence to then press ahead with doing this movie. Now, far be it from me, my friends, to dispute the opinions of whatever randoms were walking along the streets of LA when they were accosted by somebody with a Paramount clipboard, I presume. But if I was asked, me, a major Star Trek fan, a huge Star Trek fan, a man who spent the last 3 weeks of his life going through Enterprise for no other reason than he just hadn't done it before, if you ask me, are you bothered about seeing these? Where do you feel about Chris Pine and his Captain Kirk? Where do you feel about Zachary Quinto and his Spock? Were you interested in seeing these people come back? Here's a £5 gift card. If you give me the answer, I would have said, maybe that's just me. Maybe if I was asked if I could spend Paramount Star Trek money, that's not how I would have spent it. But maybe I am in a minority of this. Maybe I am just not as excited as I should be. Don't get me wrong, very excited to see the film, but if Paramount were asking me where that money, where that creative effort should go, this is probably not the direction I would have told them. Am I happy they are going that way? Yes. Yes, I am. Would I have done it myself? No. But I'll tell you his opinion. I'm very interested in hearing about this. Yes, you watching this film. I'm dead interested to know what you think about all this, because I didn't think there was any interest in this film at all, but Paramount are telling me very loudly and with a lot of money that there is. So if that's you, let us know in the comments below. Of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't know if we'll mention this, but we're desperately trying to hit 200k subs before the summer. I have a bet with somebody for not inconsiderable amount of money that's going to happen. So if you could see your way to subscribing, if you don't already, gosh, that would be appreciated. But we really do want to know what you think of this full Star Trek film, what you think it's going to be about, what you want to see it, what you want to not see. Let us know everything in the comments below. Of course, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Get me on Twitter at Adam Cleary, Clery. Get Trek Culture at Trek Culture, and the entire Trek Culture family is just kicking about somewhere. I'm sure you'll find them in your own time. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. I'm Adam Cleary. We are getting Star Trek 4, and I'll see you soon. Mwah. Bye.